Hello, everyone. My name is Cory Marquardt. I have started a blog for one of my classes at Drake University. It's online marketing class, and basically we just figure out how to create a better online brand for ourselves and do some online marketing. And one thing that I wanted to try and do here is kind of, you know, expand a little bit from the the traditional blog and do some I guess makeshift podcasts, if you will. Still trying to figure out the actual specifics on that, but that's why this is coming to you in a YouTube video format. But either way, I'm going to share some ideas over using my voice compared to actually typing it out. I've historically kind of been able to verbalize things a little bit better than writing them out, so we're going to give this a shot and see how it goes. So far on my blog, I've had a couple different topics talking about finding your vision. Just I guess some different personal things to kind of help you find yourself and be successful. We're gonna continue on that topic here today, talking about some entitlement and I guess my views on that and where maybe our society, mainly the millennials and kind of the younger people are today, kind of the attitude overall. So, first off, let me start by saying that a lot of this has kind of been sparked by a lot of the political talks that have been going on. I find myself in Des Moines right now, where the Democratic debate is going to be held on Saturday, which is tomorrow. So there's a lot of buzz going around campus here at Drake, and just the city in general. Obviously, Iowa is a pretty big hub for political stuff in general, but there's been a lot of different views being put out there, and some different things like that, and just overall a lot of excitement too. There's good publicity for Drake, and it's good to see a lot of people get involved with this event going on here, but. I guess along those lines, one of the things that have been brought up in talks and different things has been kind of the entitlement aspect of just how people are acting nowadays. And I guess to start with that, my views are not, I guess necessarily trying to endorse a certain party or not, but I figured this would be a good way to kind of help share my thoughts on it and just kind of use this to help you guide yourself through in relation to what I've been talking about in the previous posts on my blog. So with that being said, I just want to open that up with just the idea of working hard and whatever you earn, whether it be money, success, satisfaction, however you want to measure your success, you have to work hard to get it. The analogy that I am going to refer to is, with a sports team, you know, when you play a sport, you're not just handed out wins. You have to work for them. You have to practice. You can't just show up and then the other team just hands it to you. You have to work hard for it, and that's in every single sport. Um, that really relates to real life too. When you go for job interviews, you don't just show up and then they hand it to you. It's not that easy. You gotta prepare for it. You have to know the company you're working for. You have to go to school and have all this stuff leading up to it to make sure that you're qualified and that you're ready to go. So you have to work for something in order to get it. Kind of one of these general things that have been floating around is that people my age, we're talking, college kids, a little bit younger, like these people are kind of just feeling entitled to everything, where it's they just expect things to be handed to them, and I guess if you want to relate it to some politics, there's been a lot of talk with people wanting free college and all that stuff, and you know to one extent, I understand, and I see where they're coming from, and But on the other hand, too, there's people like my parents, and there's a lot of older people that think. I'm not saying my parents are old by any means, but we're talking people that were born, somewhere like 60s, 70s, 80s in there. These people growing up in that age group, they had to work for everything that they got. My parents both worked two different jobs as they went through college just to pay for it, and yes, it does cost more to go to school now, but that should just mean that maybe you work that much harder to make sure you get through. You shouldn't expect just because it's to this point where you're at this level of school and it costs this much. You know, there's a point there where you just stop trying and then you expect people to give you everything, to make up the difference. Um, and let's relate that back to sports. It's one of those things where if you try, for this much and you only win 10 games, well, are you just going to give up and expect to just win the rest of them? Or are you going to work harder to actually earn those wins? And it kind of goes back, and this is just one idea too. When you're growing up and you're playing these like little league baseball and all these little games and whatnot as you're growing up, everybody gets a little participation ribbon, and no one keeps track of score anymore. There's really no competition involved. It's basically you show up, everybody's proud of you that you were there, and no matter how good you do or how bad you do, everybody is treated the same. Yes, I agree with that to one extent, but at the same time too, our world, talking about business, really everything we do is a competition, against other countries, whether it be in sports too. Everything we do is in competition with something. So, I feel that with the way that, my generation has been raised and is continuing to be raised, a lot of these kids are feeling like they should just be getting things whenever they, attempt to do something. They just kind of expect some sort of reward from it. You try to go to school, so, I should get money for it. Um, in my opinion, not really the best way to go about doing it. It's one of those things where when you work towards something, you can fail. That's okay. But let's just say in this instance that you don't. Once you actually achieve what you're working so hard to get, it's going to feel a heck of a lot better than if somebody just handed it to you. Because think about it, if you're one of the few that can work hard and achieve something that not a lot of people can, you're setting yourself apart and you're making that much more of an impact compared to everyone else. If everybody is handed the same thing, you're just like everybody else. There's no point of differentiation there that you can separate yourself from anyone else. So, yes, I understand, like, you can all be, equal, and that's good. But at the same time, if you really want to do something special, you got to work hard to do it. You can't just expect things to happen to you and then you're gonna be something amazing. If you look at anybody that has made any sort of major impact on their industry in business, education, whatever you want to, even sports too, no one that has made any sort of significant impact, could be good or bad, but either way, they worked for it. They actually did something. There's not one single coach that I can think of that was just handed a job. And a lot of these coaches, like, they know people, but if they get a job because they know somebody and they don't do well, they're fired. It doesn't matter if you know somebody or if you don't. If you don't perform, you're done. So these people have to work for what they're doing, and it's kind of a touchy subject nowadays. But at the same time, this goes back to as far back as you can think. People have been working hard for so long, and it's a lost art, it seems, which it shouldn't be. If you're listening to this and you're kind of finding yourself in a rut, or just kind of not quite sure what's going on, and you know maybe just feeling just flatlining with what you're doing. Um, Maybe it's time to kind of rethink things a little bit, find something different. Whether you can still be in your same job, or doing the same type of things, but find some point of difference between you and your peers, and go for it. Work hard to be different. It's not a bad thing to be different in a good way. So I'm gonna end with that right there. Definitely, I'm gonna keep this going with some other topics. Overall, though, definitely just keep working hard at whatever you feel passionate about, because if you're not passionate about what you're doing, then it's just not worth it. So thanks for listening, and keep looking forward to these. I'm gonna keep them coming on my YouTube channel here, and I'm gonna have them uploaded to my blog, and we'll be sharing them that way too. So thanks again for listening, and we'll hear back from you next time.